I'm just kidding. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to what the heck is this? This is the RationalInvestor.com's daily brief. Having fun doing the what was that? There was a Family Guy. They do it like red dog one ready, and how does that go? Anyway, we used to always post those funny memes, and now I'm just blabbing here. Red 5 standing by. Yeah, that's right. And then one of them was red button standing by. Simply red standing by. Yeah. All right. So enough of that nonsense. Good morning, everybody. Let's try and we actually have a pretty action-packed hour here. There's a ton of information we need to go over. And of course, today is Thursday, which means it's Baby Powder Report. Julian's on the call. How you doing this morning, Julian?
I'm feeling pretty great, Brian. I'm gonna try to keep up with your enthusiasm, even though it's 11 o'clock at night here. But I'm feeling pretty good. Had a good day so far. Had some Korean barbecue to go with my baby powder.
Oh, score.
So I had a really nice meal tonight.
Awesome.
And I just ordered some I literally just had Thai dessert like 2 minutes ago, and it was coconut milk with ice and
I'm sorry. What was her name?
some like water chestnuts. It's really good.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
So I've got my
Awesome.
sugar rush.
Excellent. For me, your audio cut out there momentarily, but it might have just been on my end. I don't know. But
Hopefully
anyway.
it's on your end.
And then
It's
I
very
just
important to get the Thai dessert description correct.
Yeah. Anyway, all good. Maybe you can find the name of it and show us some pretty pictures later.
Okay.
Of course, as well too, we have the Duke of Albuquerque, the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin in the house. How you doing this morning, Kevin?
I'm doing good, thanks, Brian. Hey, everybody.
Am I a little bit
Sounds
over
like
the
someone
top?
needs some Thai dessert.
That sounds good.
Actually, I just
Morning,
had some
man.
strawberries. They got natural sugar. Maybe I'm running off of a strawberry high here now. I don't
We
know.
don't have strawberries here.
No strawberries in Thailand. All right.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm going to try and summarize everything I've sort of seen in the market over the past few days. Well, not few days, let's say, past 24 hours or so, as fast as I can. We started actually a little bit late this morning. My apologies, everybody. Brian was a little bit slacker there. But I think
I
we're
think
up
it's
and
Kevin's
running.
fault.
All right.
He's sleeping. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm interrupting now.
Okay. I'll go through my spiel and hopefully by, say, quarter past the hour, give me 7 or 8 minutes. Thank you for posting the video there, Joshua, in the lounge. Appreciate it. We'll turn the show over to Julian. So, on your mark, get set, go. I guess the first thing that I saw this morning, as always, I like to talk about a risk on versus risk off. And actually, when I get up in the mornings around 6:30 or so, I was actually up a little bit earlier this morning, but nonetheless, I often put the actual words right over where the market is. And then what I like to do is post this, and then through the video, just sort of see what has developed since I first looked at this. And I think we can make the clear distinction that we're in a risk on type of environment. Risk off assets are continuing to move lower. And as you can see, since I first posted this, they've all in unison moved lower together. And risk on assets, you can see they've all actually moved up a little bit. Bitcoin's moved a little higher. Oil actually has. And, oil looks really sneaky down here to me, folks. Get ready. I got a funny feeling oil could take off here, but we'll see how that goes. I did talk just recently about wanting to short these risk-off proxies if we got back into a half-decent trade location. The only one that actually set up a trade for me was the bonds, and I went and picked up a bond put here a couple days ago. Feeling pretty good about that trade, so no way to go, Brian. And a little disappointed, frankly, that the gold in the end never got back up top. Maybe there'll be a bit more back and forth. Of course, massive gaps here. So keep in mind this is the ETF. These are the futures contracts. I could throw on the U.S. Long Bond Treasury. And it looks very similar, but without the gaps. So the point that I just wanted to have on the screen was that I actually did pull the trigger there on the bonds. So feeling pretty good about that. Got a little bit of interest rate insurance, and maybe that's what actually causes the stock market to melt down at the end of the month here. Because like I said, it feels like risk on is catching a bid. The Chinese and the Americans theoretically are talking away in Washington. The Americans throw the Chinese a bone today, saying that they are going to remove a few of the names from the Huawei list that theoretically is banned in doing business in the U.S. And there was talk in Chinese state media that the key negotiator was going to leave Washington today. Then the Americans came out and said, no, that's not the case. That's not the case. So I get the impression that there is, there is progress being made. Is this all sort of a buy the rumor, sell the news, buy risk on in anticipation of some sort of deal being cut? And then we find at the end of this, nothing develops and risk on assets all melt back down, and we continue that sort of late October bottom cycle thesis I've been thinking about. I think that's totally realistic. With regard to things like Bitcoin, I think we're going through very natural counter trend rallies, and we've got some levels that I think could be hit here over the short term as they sort of bid risk on assets back up here. So all in all, I'm pleased at the fact that I said I wanted to short these risk off assets if they got into trade location and they set up structure. I did on the bonds, and really half of my job here is just to be a demonstrator of best practices. If you're a demonstrator of best practices and you follow the process, ironically enough, making money at this game isn't that difficult. It's just really fucking hard to do. So, here was a good example. The other day when I was in there shopping for that bond put, nobody was interested in buying bond puts, right? And that's how I got the thing so damn cheap. And now look at the end result. It drives you crazy. But anyway, moving on. Looking at the broader market sort of breadth. Was pleased to see that stock indexes in general are pointing up, but I'm still a little bit concerned about things like the Russell 2000 and the small cap market. If we look at the Russell 2000 on top of this with the transports, they did both break to new lows, whereas the Dow did not. So I don't know whether I feel comfortable in sort of calling a bottom here. And if we look at where is it should be on here. If we look at the major indexes, Mr. Somebody was long calls. Sure hope they rode that out. I still don't know what happened to that person. I should have written down their name. But it looks like that trade is sort of back working again. I still like the idea of a stab up against 78.6, maybe even as high to fill in this gap on this counter trend rally. I do still have my puts that, as I said, the plan was to look to liquidate into the end of October and then flip to the long side. So I don't really want to do anything on this trade over the short term. But what I did notice was you can see potential AB equals CDs on things like the Dow. And the Russell 2000 kind of still outperforming. It did make new lows, whereas the major indexes didn't. I wonder whether a lot of this counter trend rally, you can see the S&Ps did fill in their gap, but the Russell 2000 still has a little bit further to go. So I think we could still have another leg or so higher here in the stock market. And maybe that sort of happens through the end of the official trade negotiation event that's technically happening today. And I think it goes on and finishes up tomorrow, but I'm not totally positive about Looking at the broader market, sadly, of course, this I think is kind of like moving along the sort of unicorns kind of theme. A lot of the darlings of this last rally, unless they're actually producing results, if they're showing any disappointment, they're getting absolutely destroyed. And the pot sector, whether it be, legal stuff, guys not declaring inventories and stuff being returned and getting fined and all that by the feds, or just simply earnings misses like this HEXO this morning. Pot stocks look very heavy here. I do still like the CBD part of the market, but let's call a spade a spade. This doji closing low obviously is a key pivot here for this guy, so that's 187. If David's T does start closing below there, I think this rally's toast. But we'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. I'm long the stock, so not too concerned. I guess more of my empathy is towards those that are in the options, because we have a November call option that's just, flirting with being in the money. And if we crap out here like the rest of the pod sector here, then I think that trade's probably in trouble. But we'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. I love being long the stock, right? When I look at the stock from like a weekly perspective, not worried about options expiration or anything, I love this name. I mean, it's beautiful base. But could we spend a couple months here cleaning this up here? Turns out that the Canadian legislation about CBDs wasn't really that significant. Yeah, it's totally possible. And you can see like AB equals CDs. We actually exceeded those targets. So just be warned there. The pod sector looks very troublesome. Ironically enough, one sector that I absolutely love right now is the shipping sector. Why? Still haven't quite figured it out, but I think one reason why the shipping sector has done well of late is not that one. Where I guess it was before all this. I had there we are. This is the dry bulk shipping index ETF. So now you can actually buy exchange traded funds off of this shipping index, and these are all sort of like the big shipping containers that you see traveling around the world. They've actually had a pretty damn good past 6 months. And I think this is one of the main reasons why these shipping stocks have done as well as they have. I don't know whether, and really the question ultimately, this data doesn't go that far back, but can we exceed these gaps and break out through the top? That's another question for another day. But, this is a weekly chart. And it just, this index keeps pressing to new highs. Just put in a little bullish inside Harami bar there. So, all in all, I think it sort of explains why the shipping sector is feeling better. Specifically, I just went through, I saw another big firm did a big write-up on this GSL saying that they're back to profitability. Hearing lots and lots of talk about stock reorganizations. In this case, this was a reverse split, a 1-for-8. So that's exactly, that's like VCIM. Anybody who's taken the level 1 should remember that. That's exactly what we want to see to sort of mark bottoms. A lot of these stocks have gone through reorganizations, cleaning up their debt, that kind of stuff. I mean, just some pretty charts. I did have one stock that I got a double off of on these kind of rallies we bought way back when. Maybe it was even just this rally. So I'm sitting there going, I want more shipping stocks. I want more shipping stocks. And I came across this one this morning. And, everybody at TRI knows W's. And this is a weekly chart, so weekly W's. 35 million shares out. I mean, not heavy, but not light either. Just nice. Well, I wouldn't say not heavy. I mean, certainly not heavy, but definitely in our wheelhouse. 34 million. It's not bad. Trading at like 50 cents on the dollar, like half a book value. I think, rallies, wicks and tails like to be eaten. I think rallies up into these wicks, I think, are totally realistic. And right on the open this morning as I was going through these, and I remember I just sort of went through Where the hell is it? Was it this one here? Where I had a weekly breakout, and the stock just took off and jumped another $1 higher. So I was like, screw it, man. This is a weekly W. I'm going in. And, right on the open, it was sitting there at 218, right up at the high. And I was like, fuck it, man. I'm just buying this damn weekly W. I asked what this price was. It was 217. I put my order in at 218, and I got filled at 217 and a half. So, live by the sword, die by the sword. This might turn out to be an absolutely horrible decision, but, W's are W's are W's. And as I sort of did, I did journal write-ups on all of these. So if you're following my journal, I did a write-up there on the NMCI trade. Basically, I just basically followed my plan. Didn't put too much money. Only bought one board lot, $200-$300, big deal. US. But like I said, I want to add to that shipping stock portfolio. I have no idea whether I've just walked into a trap. I might have. It's possible. But I'll risk down to this 172. And just like a lot of my sort of recent trades, I'm looking to, I would like to see a double hit on this thing, but my hunch is we'll probably get up into sort of that $3.50, $4 area, and then we run into some serious traffic. But again, like I said, I want to be buying these shipping stocks. So I did that today. Heading over to crypto. Before I release Julian, what time is it here? 22. Okay, I'm not. Give me another 5 minutes or so. I was on Twitter yesterday, and there's this guy, Fitbee or something like that. I think I'm this guy here, Phil Bitcoin, I guess. He just does some really interesting analysis, and I like following along his thinking. He's a pretty smart guy. Follow him too if you like. And he had on this chart where he drew a curve off of the lows and then just sort of tried to replicate that curve, and I'm not exactly sure, but what I tried to do as best as I could was just basically duplicate that study. Where was it? And I hate how Twitter does this. I think actually, Joshua, I think you were the first person who... I guess it was this. So he did this study, and I just basically tried to replicate the chart. And so that's what this is. And then this is a monthly chart to try and just replicate that study. And then I cloned it and made sort of a weekly chart of it to try and see what those levels kind of look like. And I thought this was really cool, how you can kind of see through sort of Bitcoin's consolidation, not face rip phase, but consolidation phase. It seems to just sort of bounce between these two, the purple and the yellow, back and forth. And then it'll accept above purple, sort of in this, and that's your face rip mode. So accept above purple, face rip mode. So I get the feeling like, of course, we just tagged yellow and we rallied up to purple, and then there was a real battle here, right, at purple, and it looks to me like we lost purple, which kind of makes sense, right, because you can see back and forth, back and forth. It did it like 2 or 3 times each cycle. So to see a bit of back and forth here actually to me makes sense. And lo and behold, if we throw on reload zones, gee whiz, reload zone would basically line up perfectly with that tag of the yellow there. And also too, if we think about, our last cost of production, we did like models, and there was one gentleman, I think his name was Tony, who came up with like $2,700 US to mine a Bitcoin, or, somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000. And what a coincidence, that would basically align right in that sort of $5,000 to $6,000 level. So I kind of like this thinking going forward. So I'll probably make reference to that in the future. Internals, the dominance conversation, I think we're still in sort of that check of dominance. I think that sort of is framing my expectations, but I was really pleased to see that the altcoin indexes are finally starting to try and lift off their lows. I haven't seen any movement out of Joshua's FA index yet, but I did notice that these bigger ones are starting to lift. So that was encouraging. I don't think it should surprise anybody. Here we are, 85.16, 50% level, 85.01. That sort of oscillation conversation, and then we were going to ask, on a weekly basis, can we recapture the 30 SMA? If we can, I think there's a pretty good chance we run up and tag 13 EMA. And of course, that's that conversation about kissing the underside of this market structure failure. Little ones, ETH, and this is probably one reason why that Bitcoin altcoin indexes are perking up. You can see ETH had a pretty nice rally here. We have, though, just rallied right smack into moving average resistance and right into our reload zone here. So I don't know if there's a heck of a lot more left to this rally. And it was almost like if you look at the daily charts, it's almost like it was just like zing, 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 zing. It looks like it could go a little bit higher. There's 61.8. There is that AB equals CD target. But I think that's the context that I'm putting sort of the Ethereum rally into right now. We're coming into a really stiff resistance zone here. So just be forewarned. And then Litecoin did confirm the weekly inside bar. And, same thing with Ethereum. It had a nice inside bar here. You can see resistance is still a little bit higher here, even trend lines. So I could see a little bit more outperformance of Litecoin, but like I said earlier, it's going to take some time for me to see real bottoms, and we still haven't hit this AB equals CD objective, which is a little bit concerning to me. Still, algo-wise, nothing really going on, this little sort of day trading model that we put together here recently, 4 hours are pointing up, dailies are still pointing down, so nothing doing there. And then a couple things I wanted to just mention. We talked about this yesterday. Was the market going to accept above this 50% level here? Ironically enough, the market just went and put an incredible M right off that level and then dumped it and then tried to reverse off it first thing this morning. So now, interestingly enough, 50% level is probably going to act as support here for the next little while. I sort of posted this morning, I thought probably a very natural level for the market to work its way back to is this 83.49, 38.2s, and basically the top of value. But really, I think it's predicated on whether, we actually W out here and maybe bought higher again. And how we sort of resolve this 50% level. And I can completely understand people that said, look how far down 50% is here. If I get signs of divergence up through here and I've got a big M, and I wouldn't even be surprised if there's some harmonic guys that found harmonic levels in here. It wouldn't shock me to find that people were actually shorting this counter trend rally here, looking for that move back into sort of 50% rolls. That wouldn't be shocking to me. One thing I did notice, which was kind of cool, and Julian can talk more about this in a moment, but I've been sort of telling you guys about my two M's or two W's thesis using the RSI. This is the way that I used to use it. And we got one of those situations where this W here stops the bear slide, and then this second W here starts the bull run. So really good working example of that. Interesting enough, a day or two ago, I had put on that if we resolve through this high here, that's where the fractal actually fires. We had lots of people on the site talking about bullish bots that they took through here on that anticipated move up higher. So kind of cool, just a juxtaposition of that RSI concept. The only problem I have with this, of course, there is the 50 line. All of this is happening below the 50 line. And we might get into a situation, like I said, this is really Julian's domain, so I don't want to talk too much on this. But we could very easily get into a situation where, and I don't know if I've drawn this correctly or not, But oh yeah, this goes off way off higher. But anyway, we might be in a situation where things like 50 lines actually act as resistance. So just and like I said, I'll leave that to Julian. Anything else I wanted to say here before I turn it over? I think we talked about that. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention. I thought this was so cool. We talked about these bullish bots, and Kevin, I didn't hear anything out of you, so I don't know whether you actually got this. If you got this, Phil, you would have been jumping up and down and screaming and yelling. But notice the bullish bot's objective here was 86. What does that number say? I mean, it's remarkable.
I didn't get filled there, actually. I just moved my... Like, it was my order was just right above that high.
86, 89, 40 was the bullish bot objective, and I made sure that I had the lows correctly. And the high print was 86.90. So, I don't know, man. Think you should have had patience and waited for it.
I waited. Then I actually just put my stop in off that Empire Fractal right there.
This one?
And it got stopped out right there, yeah.
Oh, so, because you said you had your order a little bit higher?
I missed my part. Yeah, my order was higher, so I didn't get filled there.
Wow, what a crazy market, eh? Jesus, that's incredible.
And then I also took I still thought it would go up a bit, so I actually took a 5-minute bot later in the day and then got stopped out on that too.
Oh boy.
But I was still hunting for a little bit higher than that, but oh well.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, I thought I'd just mention that. I mean, just an incredible illustration of these damn bot levels. Incredible. So the only other thing I wanted to mention was, we do have a few names in the sort of hopper with regard to altcoins. First altcoin I bought in a while. Bought this storage here at 1650. It's underwater right now. I'm trying to figure out a level to try and get in on this Syscoin. I really do like that, as sort of our latest foray into crypto, a couple trade ideas. I think it's also important too to watch BNB, how it acts here, because I think it's a great proxy and sort of the speculative part of the market. So I think we ought to keep an eye on BNB. Doge, of course, Shane said that he took this recent W. I'll be honest with you, like a complete amateur, I bought this and haven't done anything. I probably should just liquidate the position now, just because this was a failed trade. This is both of these are kind of a mental mindfuck fart on my part. But this was the BitTorrent that failed. Interesting to see. Probably now watch this 7-tick level, see if market can get back up through there. And then also, too, not a bad idea. Let's keep an eye on Alex Stirk and his Ubiq boys, because I have a feeling they're almost kind of like a silent player in this space, but probably a really good proxy on how the sort of crypto market is doing. Okay, I think I've said my piece with regard to the market. I apologize I took way too much time, Julian, but you got basically a half an hour here. Feel free to go a little longer if you want. Tell us what's on your mind today.
Hello? Can you hear me? I think I gotta share my screen first before I can talk about what's on my mind.
All right.
Hold on, present. Take over.
All right, let's see what we got here. Julian is presenting. Okay, how do I do that? Is that button? Hey, there we go. All right, I'll put my screen away and maybe we'll stop. How do I stop my presentation? Julian is presenting. Stop screen sharing. All right. Okay, so Julian has on his screen. Where are we here? This is BTC USD.
I'm thinking I should start with Bitcoin because that's what you kind of left off with.
Totally fine by me. You got the floor. Where do you want to take us?
Reverse order that we've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Hello?
Yeah, go for it.
Did you go on mute now? What?
Go.
Oh, okay. Okay, so for me, for Bitcoin on the weekly chart, I've said this before, it's kind of still like in a bit of a bear for me. It's below the weekly downtrend line, but it is hovering around the 50% level, which normally symbolizes like indecision. It doesn't know which way to go. You can see how the market, when it was around 50%, it was pretty flat until it finally broke down here in the past. So that's what I'm kind of seeing. I like to look at the daily chart, but I do admit in the past it's faked me out with the RSI. Like you can see, we have a little bit of a breakout happening here. I mean, first we had this breakdown, and now we have a bit of a breakout. I would need to see a move back down to make our next little W, and then a break through the W center line to get into the trade, and then a breakout from 9,000 probably to really feel good about Bitcoin. But you know, on a lower time frames, I'm feeling a bit more bullish since we had this breakout here. But on the weekly chart, I'm not getting crazy yet. I'm not saying like, you know, bet the farm or anything like that. You can see on the 4 hour, we've got a nice uptrend that's kind of been working away. I drew this last week. Why do I have so many lines? Hold on, guys. Delete. Okay, that's better. You can see how I kind of have, like, if I could do it like this too, this uptrend on the 4 hour chart, and we don't have any kind of negative divergence yet. I do like what I'm seeing here. We'll have to see how it develops. You can see it's riding the top of my Kellner channel, and the Kellner channel is still technically heading down. It hasn't even flatlined yet. But, you know, I would love to see him move back up to 9,000 and then a breakthrough. But what I think might be more likely to happen is something like a little bit like that, a little bit like that, a little bit like that, and then like maybe something like this. And then hopefully a move higher like that, and then boom, and then like this. That would be a nice move for it to make. That would line up with the daily chart if we can break out right here. Oh, I deleted that line. Let's bring this back. You know, here's our like daily, basically our daily RSI downtrend. You can see how it's breaking out here, but I think we're going to get a move down below it again, and then maybe we get a move higher. We do have this bullish divergence slowly, very slowly developing here. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm waiting. I did buy some Bitcoin. I think like of the total amount of Bitcoin I want to buy, I own like 10% right now. It's not a lot. It's just a little bit. I'm just nibbling. Once I get more clear signals, I will get in more. What I suggest for anyone like wanting to be long Bitcoin and I'm not talking about trading, I'm talking about like longer term holding, I would just say dollar cost average. Based on what I'm seeing in these charts, Bitcoin is going to turn at some point. I don't think it can be like some people. I've heard some people saying like Bitcoin's going to go down to 3,000. I'll be surprised if that happens. I do want to check this ABCD right here. I just want to check like this one candle and then draw like this one candle here. Maybe go off this candle. You know what? Let's go to a daily. It'll be easier on the daily. Sorry, guys. I'm like jumping there. Oh, it is a daily. I kind of like just using the one candle. And then we go off here. Yeah, so it doesn't go down that far. It's only 7,100. It's not something crazy. Delete those. Delete. So you have this breakout on the daily. Again, I'll go back to the weekly. Nothing super bullish on the weekly. That's my biggest concern, is that if I draw the ABCD off the weekly, right here, I'll go to this one, right here, and then we clone it. Now you can see if that lines up. We get a move down to 6,500 area, which is the last support area. So potentially, if we can't get a breakout of the RSI from this downtrend here, if I can't get it to move, like I need to see on the weekly a decisive move like this, and even it could go like that, but I just want to see it above this trend line. And as long as we're below this trend line, I don't like being too crazy bullish on Bitcoin. Just a little bit of buying, a little bit of dollar cost averaging on my end, just because of what I'm seeing on the lower time frames. I think that's kind of all I have on Bitcoin. Nothing too exciting. Let's go to my little like altcoin chart. So you can see on the weekly, it's actually breaking out here. This is interesting. I want to see how this week closes, and then I will get, if it closes above this, I'll feel a bit more bullish on alts. I would still want to see like a move above the 50% level, because that's when you get your big move. Like we can see the huge spike here. So when did it really take off? 50% is here. No, I guess it took off before the 50%. So even at 40%, we had a big spike up. I want to see something, sorry. I want to see something similar to this. But right now they're just slowly trending up. Still better than what it had been for a while. But I would love to see it turn around, and then also the green line cross over the red line. I think that's 1330 EMA. Yeah, it's 1330. A bit more accurate on the daily. On the daily, you can see we have this huge breakout here. I actually don't like having the stochastic. I'm going to get rid of it. And then let's save this chart again. You can see how it's like moving higher. If I want to change this here, even it's broken out of even this downtrend, and then if I go like this, it broke out of this one. So you can see it's actually quite bullish now. We are potentially putting in a bear divergence though. There's some, well, no, there was an M here and then it was invalidated. Well, M here, kind of like, yeah, not confirmed. So could potentially be like a W breakout. No, this is confusing. Rob. Yeah, so blah. Let's look, you know what? Let's look at Turtle BTC really quick. Because I'm not sure about how I feel about these alts. This is like this RSI is, we have this breakout, but it already happened, and now I'm like, okay, well, what's gonna happen next? If I go to the 4 hour, draw something like that, and then we've got let's fix this. Yeah, sorry guys for all the moving around. I know it's a little hard to watch. So I want to draw from here, and I want to put this one to create my lower support level. And then I'll draw the second one to go like this, create my other level. And then I will do this. Something like that. So you can see how, for me, on the 4 hour especially, it's still bullish. I like this breakout here. But it's kind of wonky, this index. There's my Thai dessert, by the way, in case anyone is water chestnuts in coconut milk. I looked it up before and I totally forgot.
Good thing it wasn't a
slight 30-second intermission. Let's all stare at the Thai dessert that I ate right before doing this presentation.
Let's all
this is how you get sugar high in Thailand. Anyway, let's go to Turtle BTC. I always like to look at this. Oh, Tesla went back. Ignore that. Sorry. I have I'll talk about it in a little bit, about a trade I have going on. So you can see the buy market percentage is 16%. You know, we were back in the end of September, we were at 6%. And now we're up at 16%. That's a good sign. It means the market is moving higher. It also means don't get too crazy about buying here. Like September 28th and the 29th, that's when you should have been, that would have been the buying period. And you can see that was the retracement here, September 24th to on the 28th, you know, would have been a good time to get in on some of these alts, according to the alt index at least. So, and even if you bought in, I don't know why this is higher though, because I know if you bought in like the end of September here, some of these you might still be down on. But I think it's because it's weighted heavily in like ETH and Litecoin and stuff like that. I wanted to use my other chart, but I made a bunch of changes to it and then it didn't save. So I wasn't able to recreate it before presenting to you guys. So I gotta fix that up and then I'll show it next time. That's my thoughts on altcoins. I on the 4 hour I like it. It's still looking bullish on the lower time frames. I'm a little wary on the weekly just because I really want to see that long-term weekly bullish before I can get into like rah super bull mode. It isn't there yet for me. That's all. It's not there. I mean, this could just stop and roll over here on the MACD and it's kind of game over. I want to see bigger candles. This is just like a disaster. We have new lows we're bouncing off of. I want to see. I'm just talking about a couple things I want to see, like maybe a W in price action would be nice. That's very good, Colin. Hopefully you took your own advice and made some money. So that's what I want to see. I would love to see a bit of a retracement, put in that W, and then break out above the W, and we can go rah bull again, especially on the weekly chart. I don't even trust the dailies anymore. I want to see on the weekly. That's my thoughts on altcoins. Why don't we jump in the S&P? Delete some of these. Let's clean it up a little bit. Okay, I've got that. Bullish breakout here, and now we're going to draw it like this. And then we have this, like something like this, and I can even do this. But either way, it's like breaking out of the daily a bit. Here's our bullish hammer so last time I was on the show was last Thursday. This one, and I don't know if you remember, Brian, but do you remember I was talking about I got like 40 or 50 bullish signals, like all these hammers fired. You remember that?
Last Thursday was the 3rd of October.
Yes.
So where's the 3rd on your chart?
Right here. This hammer. You see?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I talked about last time I was on about all these bullish hammers firing, and so it makes sense that we're getting a bit of this consolidation / reversal, where it could potentially see the S&P break out and move higher, especially since the daily is breaking out of the downtrend, and we do have this secondary downtrend here, which means we could go like this, boop, and then like boop, or something like maybe a little higher, and then we boom fail again. So we might not go to new highs, but I could see us still like going a bit higher, 247, 248, 249. I mean, for OPEX, even this is like kind of weird. I mean, if they bring it to 294, 295 or 294, it's a home run for them. I'm kind of surprised it's getting down to the 293 area because I feel like, well, no, I guess even then it's still good. Either way, they're maybe it's even better here at 293. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Just gotta keep it above 290.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah, keep it above 290. But if they really want to hit a home run, get it between 293 and 295, preferably 293 or 294. Which you can see. Look, they did it. It's there. Just they rallied it up from 290. Now it's at 293. Easy. What I wanted to show really quick was let me run my. It closed, so I don't have it. Let's talk about BYND for a minute. So you can see it's still trending down, but it's not a strong downtrend. But we're finally getting that move down. I bet this move to fill the gap is going to happen in like one day, probably in like an hour or two. It's going to be this like ridiculously fast move. I will be shocked if it's not.
When's its next earnings report?
What's that?
I see they had an earnings report back in July. Usually they do them every 3 months. So August, September, so right around the end of October, right? Can you scroll your chart out? Does it show when the next earnings report is? Right now we're seeing Pro Real-Time Software.
Yeah, that's the scanner I use. I'm trying to it's not going away. It's loading the JavaScript. Sorry guys. Okay, just wait 1 second. Bear with me.
Everybody panic buy Visa.
No, don't. Well, This actually fired a couple days ago, and I wish I'd taken it, but I didn't on some of these. Other ones I did take. Okay, so yeah, that's beyond me. I don't want to spend too much time on it. How much time do I have left? 30, 11:50. Okay, I want to talk about the screeners. Let me try to move this off the screen and move this back on the screen. So this is running a scan on the weekly. Now, if we look at the weekly, like look at Visa here. Just pull it up here. Visa, here's your bullish, your hammer. And then if I go to MSI, Motorola, boom, hammer on the weekly. This is the weekly right here. Same for Wells Fargo. Boom, weekly hammer. So I took a bunch of trades actually. When I generated this, I took these on Monday, yeah. And every single one of them is in profit now. It's really cool. Well, actually one is at negative 3%. This other one is at positive 12%. That's MA, whichever one is MA. Yeah, MasterCard. I took MasterCard. So you can see if I go to the daily chart, sorry guys, I'm like confusing you with this, but it's just easier to use and click and open. But I don't, just so you know, I don't use this for anything other than the scanner. I just use TradingView normally. What day is this here? Was that Monday? What day is it? What am I doing? Yeah, Thursday. Okay. No, maybe I took it last Thursday. When did I open this? Wait, just 1 second. October 8th, I opened it. So yeah, Tuesday I opened. Did I really open it on Tuesday? Oh, okay. I thought I opened it, before that, but apparently I opened it on Tuesday. Yep, everything was opened on October 8th on Tuesday. And I am already in profit in most of these between, well, they keep fluctuating, unfortunately. Like every time like this one's plus 8%. Another one is plus 3%. Another one plus 9%. So it's just kind of cool. I'll leave the names on the screen for a second. So these are the ones that kind of triggered, and I expect over the next 4 weeks to 3 to 4 weeks to see these head higher. Like my target for this one is, I just take this and I add, so 9 was the difference between the high and the low, and the high of the week was 171. So my target's 180 for this, like the highs. Most of them, my target is the highs. And this has a pretty good success ratio. It's like right now in my testing, it's like 70% success ratio, where it seems to get close to the target. So for MasterCard, for example, one more. Let's see, we got 14, and then the high, and then so that puts us at 288, which would be, let's get this on the screen here. 288 would be like right here at the highs. I'll be impressed if, even I don't really believe this is going to get hit so quickly. We'll see. It could be totally wrong. I have had weeks that I was testing this where everything was wrong and none of it worked. And then I had other weeks where everything worked. And then I had other weeks where it was like 50-50 or 70-50 or 70-30.
I do
so we'll
throw that chart up on TradingView and do a reload zone. My hunch is it rallies into that reload zone.
Yeah, let's try it. You want me to do it from this low?
Yeah.
Other way. Which low you want me to go to? This one?
No.
Or this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so reload zone would be 281 to 286. So I'm kind of looking for the high.
And is there a gap up there? It looks like there's a gap up there.
It was filled. Oh, there's this gap here. Here, we do have a gap right here.
Yeah. So
280.
There's your target.
283.
I would put my target right in that area.
Yeah, so maybe that's the good target area. I made my target like 285.
Yeah. So let's see. Take a screenshot of that.
Actually, honestly, if it goes anywhere between 280 and 290, Wait, let me double check my trade here.
What's 78.6 there?
78.6 is 286.
Yeah. So throw a horizontal line on that, and let's take a look at that next Thursday and see how we did.
At 286, you're saying?
I think the gap, but it might go beyond the gap.
Okay. I'll put it at 282.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Let's save this. All right. Well, for me, if it's anywhere between, if in 2 weeks it's anywhere between 280 and 290, I'll make a profit. No problem.
All right.
So, we'll see. Let's see what happens. I just kind of like sharing off my screeners. These are some tools that I'm working on and back testing.
Totally. I love that the weekly hammer idea. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I also had, I don't know why, but I really liked Tesla, a trade on Tesla. So I took a long trade on Tesla with a butterfly spread. When did I open this trade? I opened this on October 4th. I took a 1 week long spread. October 4th was Friday. And I took it. Wait, what is going on? Am I on a 1 minute chart? Why am I on a 1 minute chart here? Okay, hold on. There we go, guys. Okay, October 4th. Yeah, right here. I took the long. And I expected it to go up to 240. 240 was my target, the gap fill, which was, because we thought Tesla would fill the gap, right?
Yeah.
So that was my target. As long as it's between 240 or 235 and 245, I make a nice profit. It actually overshot. It went too far. I'm like, no, come back down. So I'm glad it kind of retraced today. And I'm debating if I want to close it today at currently an 80% profit, or if I want to hold on and hope that tomorrow, this could go up to, what is it right now? This could go another 100% profit to another 200%.
What's the
if
plan?
This can come back down to 240. What's that?
So what's the plan say?
Well, my goal was 100% profit, so I should just close it if I can get near there. But I might just close it now. That's my goal was 100%. So I'm pretty much there. So yeah, that was a cool trade. I just like to follow up on trades that we talked about last week or things I did. And this is in my personal account. I took this. So we'll see what happens. I'm probably gonna try to close it today. Just 88% is good for me. 90%. I don't need that extra 10%. I'd rather just lock in what I have. What do I want to talk about next?
How are you doing on your gold? Are you trading gold at all these days?
Yeah, I'm trading gold. This is a 5 minute chart. Let's look at the higher time frame. I keep looking at some of these lower time frame charts. So bad. So to me, gold is downtrend. Look at this daily. Look at how it rejected off this trend line. But you can see it at the same time. This is what concerns me. This MACD histogram is putting in serious divergence. It's not even. The MACD is making higher highs or higher lows, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I think it's a divergence.
Yeah, but price is just sitting there, just kind of doing nothing. We had a lower low here, but higher low in MACD. So I'm getting conflicting signals to a degree. Well, wait a second. I just realized something. This is kind of drawn incorrectly. Should be like that. Okay, so if it's like that, or even better, if it's like this, then we could come up a little bit more here, touch this, or even go to 15, 20 or something, and then move further down. So I think gold is just consolidating. I really am getting this feeling that there's some type of, I wanted to see gold come down. I really wanted to see it come off, but I'm starting to get the feeling that it's just consolidating before a move higher. Like something's telling me someone is either accumulating or distributing here. Whenever you see this kind of pattern, usually major institutions, and I think especially when it comes to like gold, major institutions are either accumulating or they're distributing. And it's kind of our job to figure out, okay, well, are they accumulating or are they distributing? If I look at a weekly chart, let's look at this weekly. I think gold's bullish. I do in the long term. I think gold's bullish just because of the geopolitical events going on and stuff like that. And it's a risk off asset, or is it a risk on or risk off? What would you say, Brian? How would you like call it? I know which one it's like.
I would call it a risk off asset.
Risk off. Okay, so when there's a lot of risk and turmoil in the world, people move into gold. It usually rallies. Same as something like the U.S. dollar. So you can see here it's still in a bullish uptrend on the weekly, but we could potentially have a retrace easily down to the 1450 area, touch that, and then move higher. Wash everyone out. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on gold. I do watch these like random 5-minute charts, which is making me think, okay, so we've got this resistance here, and then if I can draw this here. But this is like silly stuff at this point. This is just me showing what I do. You can see it's kind of stuck here. I don't know which way it's going to go. Could go either way. Terrible idea to trade that on that low of a time frame. Don't do it. I'm just telling you now, don't do it. You'll cause yourself a lot of stress and you'll get nothing done in the whole day, and then half the time you won't make any money and you'll have wasted an entire day trading on 5-minute charts to make no money. So I am very much so against any kind of like day trading. Here's the 1 hour. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with gold. I'm looking at these charts and I'm not getting a clear signal. I mean, what do you think, Brian? You got any thoughts?
I like, what is this? I like big butts. No, wait a minute. That's something else. No. I actually think it's a sign of a professional when they look at their charts and they say, I don't have any signals right now. I'm not doing anything. That to me is, if anything, it just shows that this trader is not seeing setups, and so as a result, he's not forcing anything. And sometimes being in cash is actually a pretty good place just to sit and wait.
Yeah, I honestly think gold's just kind of ranging here. I'm fine with sitting in cash and then, waiting for something to happen on either end and then getting into the trade. But for right now, you're just kind of playing the up and down range. Especially if you're on the higher time frames. If you're day trading, obviously you can make some things happen, but it's just, like I said, it's kind of can be a headache. Trump tweets one thing and gold's going to move $20 in one direction and you're screwed. So I don't
just
recommend
wait for
it.
your setups, right? I mean,
What's that?
My short window on gold was 15.27 up to 15.44, and you can see we're sitting here 14 and change. So yeah. I can't do anything. I'm just sitting here, sitting on my hands. So.
Yeah. Just gotta wait. So let's see what happens. That's gold. Thai baht. I like to talk about that. Let's go to the weekly. Apparently the government here is looking at some way to like lower the Thai baht again, keep it from going up. And you can see on the weekly chart, I talked about this last week, it's kind of breaking out of the downtrend. It is, thankfully, because I don't need it to gain any more strength. It needs to reverse course, go back to 32 or something, because things are getting too expensive here. And I even talked to some business owners, and business is down apparently everywhere. I actually sat at a table with a couple different people who own, restaurants, bars, clubs here. That was an enlightening meeting for me. I really enjoyed that. Actually,
but that must mean that you have less competition on your Tinder for girls now, right?
What?
Do you say when Thailand's really popular and all the tourists are coming,
Oh my
it
God.
makes it finding chicks on Tinder really difficult?
Well, let me tell you something. If we want to, we'll talk about that for 1 minute. 1 minute. So what I learned, okay, is that, actually talking to girls in person is the better way to go
Really?
than
Imagine
using
that.
Tinder. So I think my Tinder days are over. And I think it's better to talk to them in person if you can. I mean, occasionally on Tinder you do find some gold, but most of the time you will be disappointed. So recommendation to everyone here: if you're not married and you're single, I highly suggest if you see someone you like, just go up, say hello. I saw you. I liked something you were wearing, or I don't know. Just say something. Just don't be creepy. Be very nice, courteous. Say, my name is this, blah, blah, blah. And then try to start talking. If she doesn't like you, she's going to be like, I'm not interested. Or just say she has to go. And then you say, okay, no problem. And then you just try with the next one. Eventually, if you do enough of them, you will hit a target. It's kind of just like throwing darts at a blindfolded at a dartboard.
Okay.
And lucky for me in Thailand.
I'm gonna miss the Tinder reports though. They were fun.
Oh God.
So not only do you get some wise wisdom on trading, but you also get dating advice here at TRI. It sounds good to me.
Yeah.
If you like a girl, go up and tell her you like her.
Well, don't be obvious about it.
And as
Just-
Colleen says, make sure to smell her hair.
Okay, well that's weird. Don't. Oh, here's another side advice. Never listen to a female's advice on dating. Never ever.
Okay.
Never ever listen
Now
to a
we're
female's
just
advice.
we're getting ourselves into trouble now, and
They will tell you the worst things to do. Oh, and by the way you look matters. Like
for the record,
Make sure you go to the gym.
for the record, Colleen said, "Don't smell their hair." I was just
Yeah.
being silly.
Well, it's okay to smell their hair if you look like a Calvin Klein model. If you don't look like a Calvin Klein model, don't do it.
All right.
That's basically where the line is drawn. If you don't look like Calvin Klein.
All right. So,
How do I follow this up? I don't know what to talk about next. We talked about gold, Thai
well, I
baht.
mean, we are past the top of the hour. I mean, if that's your report, I think that was well done. It's good 40 minutes.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else. I wish I could talk about my scanner more, but I really just want to do more back tests and then.
Yeah, well, what I saw was totally awesome. So.
Yeah.
Ooh, I
We'll
like
see.
your little your indicator at the bottom. Sure says that things look uppy there for the Thai bot.
Yeah.
Go back to
the.
go back to the Thai bot. Yeah, look at that chart down at the bottom there. Geez, something's turning there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful chart, right? I wonder who built this. This is such a useful tool.
Yeah, super cool. So, all right. Well, why don't we leave it at that? Like I said, we finished off the baby powder report with a little bit of dating advice. I think that's always added value for our viewership. I think I was an excellent report as far as I was concerned. Very concise. You're getting better and better at this with every week, so that's great to see.
Thank you.
As soon as you're ready to get this options program up and running, TRI is ready to go and fund you. So we can. As soon as we don't necessarily have to teach a course. What I see is I see profits. I see dollar signs. So I want to subscribe to that newsletter.
I'm real-time testing in my personal account with just $100 a trade right now. It's really low numbers.
Well, that's good.
The back tests look good, but I want a real-time test, so I'm doing that now.
Excellent. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to hear. So
let's let 20 trades happen in the real-time test. I've got over 100 trades on the back test.
Good.
But I want to do 20 in real time.
Sure. Okay, I think we did an excellent job today. I think you did an excellent job, sir. Thank you so much for the content for the site. I love your unique perspective, and a very refreshing new approach for people to consider. And as the site builds out, Sjord's got Monday. He'll have his unique perspective. You've got Thursday. If we can fill up each day with a different perspective report, I think that would be awesome. We got Jamie that comes on, talks fundamental analysis. Kevin is here. I love the direction we're heading. So totally awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I think why don't we leave it at that? It is 10 past the hour, so we've gone even over the hour, even starting a little bit late. So. Well, have yourselves a great day, everybody. We'll be back in the saddle, of course, first thing tomorrow morning. I've got Liam later on this afternoon, so I'll be gone around in about 3 hours. On a daily basis, I get in a good 10 to 20 p.m., so don't feel like you can't reach out to me. People are asking me questions, and we're all here to try and help and make this the most value-added positive experience that can possibly be. So take it easy, everybody. Play from a position of strength. Remember what your number one job is. Thank you very much, and we'll leave it up to Julian to take us out of here. The only thing left to say is
bye for now.
all right, we're done.